Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Washington Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news. So, rumors are swirling around that Washington might be about to make a bold move that could shake up the entire NFC East, and honestly, the NFL landscape at large. We're talking about a potential trade involving Breece Hall, the explosive running back from the New York Jets. Now I know what some of you might be thinking. Why would the Jets want to part ways with Hall? Well, it's complicated, but the whispers come from insiders like Diana Rossini, and they paint a picture of a Jets team in turmoil, trying to navigate their way through a tough season with a 2-7 record, and a pretty tight cap situation, just about $12 million left to spend. The Jets, struggling to keep their head above water, are reportedly looking to send Breece Hall to the Commanders in exchange for a third-round pick in 2026. The focus for the Jets right now is on fixing their offensive line, especially after Aaron Rodgers' struggles. Despite being a veteran, Rodgers has only completed about 57% of his passes this season, which has raised questions about their offensive stability. With the Jets trying to extend Quinnen Williams, they might see trading Hall as a way to free up some cap space, but it's not without risks. The Jets are wary on one hand. They need cap room to keep their star defensive tackle, Quinnen Williams, and potentially extend him. But on the other, they're losing a back that's been a real spark in their run game. Breece Hall, just 24 years old, has shown flashes of elite talent, and his numbers this season are pretty impressive. Up until Week 15 of 2025, Hall had racked up 142 carries for 712 yards and 5 touchdowns, averaging 5 yards per carry with a PFF grade of 85.4. That's elite production, especially considering he's only been back from a knee sprain suffered in Week 4. His career stats with the Jets stand out: over 800 rushing yards, 22 touchdowns, and a success rate of 82% on zone runs. He's also a solid receiver, with 28 catches for 212 yards this season. Hall's ability to break tackles and gain yards after contact is a game changer, with an average of 3.2 yards after contact per run and an EPA, expected points added, per rush of plus 0.28. The Jets are skeptical about losing Hall because their backfield is struggling, allowing an average of 26 points per game. Their running game, which once looked promising, is now ranked 28th in the league, averaging just 3.7 yards per carry. That's not good enough, and it's clear that Hall's explosiveness was a key component of their offense. If they trade him away, it could be a huge blow to their run game and overall offensive rhythm. Now shifting gears to the Commanders, and this is where things get really interesting. Washington, sitting at 3-6 but with over $22 million in cap space, is quietly building a dangerous duo with Brian Robinson. Adding Breece Hall to the mix could be a game changer, especially considering how the Commanders are trending. Their rushing offense has taken a significant leap this season, with rushing yards increasing from an average of 120 yards per game to around 160. That's a 33% jump, and it's reminiscent of what Christian McCaffrey brought to the 49ers in 2022 when he added about 900 yards to their total offense. The potential pairing of Hall and Robinson is exciting for fans. Robinson, who's been steady and reliable, could see his role expand even further with Hall's explosiveness complementing his power. It's a duo that could really cause headaches for defenses, especially in play-action scenarios or when trying to control the clock late in games. Both players thrive on physicality, and their combined yards after contact and broken tackles could lead to an even more potent rushing attack. Statistically, Hall outperforms the average Washington RB in yards per contact by about 1.8 yards, and he's better at breaking tackles, improving their overall rushing efficiency. If this move goes through, the Commanders could be looking at a rushing offense that rivals some of the league's best. And let's not forget, adding a player like Hall could also take pressure off the passing game, reducing sacks and making life easier for Sam Howell, who's been improving but still benefits from a balanced attack. Looking at the bigger picture, if the Commanders manage to land Hall, it could be a turning point for their playoff push. The odds for Super Bowl LX, which are currently at plus 12-0, could tighten significantly with a splash move like this. Hall's elusiveness and ability to control the clock, reminiscent of Clinton Portis's dominance back in the day, could be exactly what Washington needs to elevate their game and secure a deep postseason run. It's the kind of move that would send shockwaves through the division, making the Commanders a much more formidable opponent. Of course, there's a lot to consider. The Jets are in a tough spot with their cap and roster needs, and losing Hall could hurt their run game in the short term. But for Washington, this could be a golden opportunity. They're already showing signs of improvement, especially in their rushing attack, and adding a player of Hall's caliber would complement their existing core perfectly. It would give them a legitimate game changer, a guy who can take a handoff and turn it into a long gain at any moment. His elusiveness in the open field and ability to gain yards after contact would add a new dimension to Washington's offense, making them more unpredictable and dangerous. Now, some of you might be wondering about the specifics of how this could happen. Well, the trade would likely hinge on the Jets' willingness to part with Hall and the Commanders' readiness to give up a third-round pick in 2026. With Washington's cap space and their need for a dynamic running back, it makes sense. They could also leverage this move to send a message to the NFC East that they're serious about competing this season and beyond. In terms of the impact on the current roster, adding Hall could shift the entire dynamic of Washington's offense. Brian Robinson would no longer be the sole feature back, and defenses would have to prepare for two explosive runners instead of one. Plus, with Hall's ability to make defenders miss and gain yards after contact, the Commanders could see a boost in their third-down conversion rates and overall offensive efficiency. This move wouldn't just be about adding talent. It would be about changing the way opponents have to defend Washington, making their offense more explosive and multidimensional. Looking ahead to the playoffs, Hall's presence could be a real X-factor. If he continues to be healthy and perform at the level he's shown this season, he could be the difference-maker in tight games. His elusiveness and vision could help the Commanders control the clock and keep defenses on their heels, much like Portis did during his prime. The possibility of adding a player with Hall's talent to this already promising roster is enough to excite any fan eager for postseason success. It's a bold move, but one that could pay off big time if executed correctly. And as we wrap up, I want to emphasize how this potential trade fits into the larger picture of the NFL this season. The league is full of surprises, and with the trade deadline approaching, teams are trying to make moves that could define their future. For Washington, landing Breece Hall would be more than just a roster upgrade. It would be a statement. It signals that they're serious about contending, about building a balanced team capable of competing with the best. Their offensive line has been holding up well, and this addition could elevate their ground game to a new level, making them not just a surprise team but a playoff contender with real Super Bowl aspirations. So, Commanders fans, stay tuned. This is the type of news that could change everything. We've seen how a single move can spark a team's momentum. Think about what Christian McCaffrey did for the 49ers last year. If Washington pulls off something similar with Hall, it could be a game changer. The NFC East is always competitive, but adding a player of Hall's caliber might just be the edge they need to finally break through and make a serious push for the title. It's an exciting time to be a Commanders fan, and I can't wait to see if this rumor turns into reality. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Washington Commanders news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Washington Commanders fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential move? Do you think trading for Breece Hall makes sense, or do you believe the Jets will hold on to him? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the future of this team. Don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for all the latest Washington Commanders news. This season is shaping up to be one of the most exciting in recent memory, and with moves like this, the sky's the limit for this franchise. Let's go, Commanders.